Okay, friends, I'd like you to turn around if you can't see the board, and I'd like to show you what we're going to talk about today. So I wrote a quote on the board. I actually heard, this was kind of cool that I heard this on the way here this morning, and it really went with what we're about to talk about today. So have you guys ever heard of Sandra Day O'Connor? She was the first ever woman elected to be on the Supreme Court, which is like the highest judge you can ever be ever in all the land. Okay. She was the first woman to ever be elected to do that. She's retired now. She's like in her 80s, whatever. And I heard on the radio that she just wrote this new book. And here's the quote from her book. She said it on the radio. She said, "When I graduated from law school in 1952, does anyone know how long ago that was?" Okay. 61. 61 this year. I called 40 law firms, and they all said, "Sorry, we don't hire any female lawyers." So today, the reason I started with this quote, because the lady's like, okay. Now think about this. Here's the question we're going to think about today. What about people who don't fit the gender roles our society has created? Okay, Sandra Day O'Connor is a woman who didn't fit the gender role in 1952. Does anybody know, like, the vibe for women in 1952 at all? Do you know what it was like at all? Kind of didn't have rights. Kind of didn't have to have. Kind of weren't expected to have a job. Didn't really. It would depend on who they married, but they were expected to get married, expected to have a bunch of kids, expected to stay home. A lot of women didn't even go to college because why would you go to college? Because what are you going to use to get your degree?
It's actually a lot of work.
I don't know about Sandra Day O'Connor, but I feel pretty good that about saying that she was probably one of like maybe at most 10 other women in her whole law school class. Okay, can you guys all do this?
Someone said Mr. B.
Okay, we're all going to take turns. So, the reason again that I brought up this quote is because Sandra Day O'Connor is a person who did not fit the traditional gender role back in 1952. She wanted to be a lawyer. She didn't want to just stay at home, raise her kids, live in her nice little house, and wash dishes all day. And because she wanted to do that, she had a really hard time finding jobs. Because those jobs were good.
What about anchor?
What do you mean anchor?
Anchorman on the news?
Yeah, it used to be that only men could report.
It's called anchor.
Now they call it an anchor person.
Anchor person.
Or just call them an anchor.
We do have lots of females.
Anchorman or anchor
I'll bring up something else. There's a commercial on this TV station. Have you ever heard of it? Called MSNBC.
Yeah, my mom.
It's at like a news station. I watch it every morning. I like to watch the news on that station. And there's a woman, a female.
CNN.
It's part of NBC. There's a female on it. Her name is Andrea Mitchell, and she is probably in her 60s-ish. So she talks about what it was like. She started as a reporter, as like an anchor, trying to be an anchor person in the 60s, I think, maybe 60s, 70s, and she had so much trouble just because she was a woman. And so one time she talks in the commercial, she talks about a time when she was talking to the leader of another country, a country especially where they do not respect women the way that women, I think, should be respected. And so she asked him a question. She asked him a very serious question. She said, "Why are you doing XYZ thing in your country and hurting people and whatever?" And he was so angry that a woman was asking him a very, important, serious question. That he told his bodyguards, his enforcers, to remove her from the room. So they
carry?
They didn't carry her. They made her get up and they escorted her out of the room because she wasn't allowed to. Yes, kind of like that. Not necessarily by ear. So anyway, so I want to go even deeper than that.
Stop fighting on the camera.
Come on, guys. I would like to go even deeper to that. We're going to talk about something even a little more serious today.
Princess boy.
Rebecca, is your hair naturally curly or do you curl it?
It is naturally curly. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you know this word. This is what we're going to talk about today.
Transition?
Does anybody want to?
Transgender.
Does anybody know what that means?
Ooh.
Or gender.
It's kind of like your bow. Like in my Princess Boy.
Like
I know.
TV's trend.
So it's basically, it could be like stuff that it's like usually a girl would do, but a boy would do it, or usually a boy does, but a girl does it.
Okay, so you got it. You hit the nail on the head. Transgender. To explain a little more of what Spencer said.
Should I say what transgender is?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's when you're one gender on the outside, but you feel like a different gender on the inside.
Exactly. So today we're going to read a story. This is a very short little picture book story called My Princess Boy. And then I'm going to have you listen to a part, about 15, 20 minutes of a radio program that I listen to that interviewed NPR. It's called, no, I want to leave it up. I can look it up. It's a TV show called a radio show called This American Life. And they talked to two families that have transgender children. And you hear all about what it's like for them to be your age. And just like Isaac said, be one gender on the outside, but feel like a different gender.
I'm trapped.
So, let's start with My Princess Boy. And feel free, if you want to make comments. We'll keep having a conversation the whole way through. So here we go. So, just an interesting fact that I want to point out. As you look at the illustrations, do you notice anything about
He has no face.
Why do you think that he would have a face?
Because then, it could, like, you can tell him, yeah.
Say that again?
Because, like, your facial features dress.
Isn't he embarrassed to be wearing a dress?
We're going to read this story.
It's not
Another thing, I want you to think about this. This is a story written by a mom.
Princess Boy.
A mom wrote this?
A mom wrote this story. Okay. And who, in fact, a mother who, in fact, is raising a princess. Does that mean, though, that he's the only princess boy in all of the world? So why do you think the illustrator would have left the face blank?
Because they don't want to show who it is.
Oh, that's a possibility. Any other reasons?
Because they don't want to see what gender it is.
Well, it's definitely a boy. We know for sure as we read the story that it's a boy.
Because if it's both genders, if it feels like a gender on the outside and feels like one on the inside, if it had face, it would kind of
That's a good thing.
like face.
That's a good point.
It'd be like, oh, it's a girl. And then I found
Because this could be anybody. Because any of you could have a baby that is a boy on the outside, but feels like a girl on the inside. Or is a girl on the outside, feels like a boy.
I like vice versa.
Would you like to hear what I wrote?
Yes.
I noticed that it kind of has some boy features for some reason. It just reminds me of a boy. And then he wears something.
Most of the time.
But we should be asking ourselves, why should only a girl be wearing it?
Yes.
Now here we go. My princess boy is 4 years old. He likes pretty things. Pink is his favorite color. He plays dress up in girly dresses,
Okay,
and he
pink can
dances
be a boy color.
like a beautiful ballerina.
Okay, pink can be a boy's
You got it.
Any color.
My princess boy has a cool brother. His brother plays baseball and soccer, and his brother dances with my princess boy. And my princess boy loves his brother. And here's the also no face. Maybe because this could be your brother or your sister. Not just this family, but any
Yes. No one has a face in here. It's the face.
My princess boy loves his dad. His dad tells my princess boy how pretty he looks in a dress. His dad holds his hand and tells him to twirl. My princess boy smiles and hugs his dad. My princess boy has play dates with boys and girls. He likes to climb trees wearing his princess boy tiara crown. When he plays dress up, he likes to change clothes a lot. He wears a green ballet leotard and he dances with his friends. I love my princess boy. When we go shopping, he is the happiest when he is looking at girls' clothes. Any predictions on what might...
Oh, look, he's wearing a boy shirt and then a big fancy dress.
It's gonna be pretty awesome to have a son that doesn't complain when going shopping.
But when he says he wants to buy a pink bag or a sparkly dress... Any thoughts on reactions?
Well, I think it's kind of like they took sides.
I don't think you're supposed to sit here.
When he says he wants to buy a pink bag or a sparkly dress, people stare. And when he buys girl things, they
Laugh at him. And it hurts.
and then they laugh at me. So they're not just laughing at her son, they're laughing at her too.
Why are people married?
It hurts us both. Once my princess boy wore a dress at his birthday party. He welcomed his friends to his home and he said, "I am a princess boy." He put on jewelry and he liked how pretty he looked and he waved a princess boy wand. And then my princess boy was a princess for Halloween. Any predictions?
People laugh.
No.
He went trick-or-treating with his brother. And one woman laughed at him because he was in a princess dress.
I have something. It actually makes a lot of sense to dress up as a princess and a boy for Halloween. It's just to be hilarious and you are dressing up as a girl.
But why does it have to be hilarious? So I know sometimes for Halloween guys dress up like in girls' costumes
And girls.
to be funny.
And girls.
But what if you're just doing it because that's what you wanted to wear?
Kitty's mama, which is on YouTube, this girl and her brothers help her go doll hunting.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She showed me that. So and once I was bored and I showed my mom and I actually looked on a video and it said her 10-year-old brother and her 12-year-old brother for Christmas they asked for Monster High dolls. And they even go with her shopping and like, ooh, look at this one and stuff.
Yeah, her brother Noah found Valentine's for her. It's in every star.
Oh.
Yeah, it has 4.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So what? Okay, continue. Okay,
My princess boy asked, "Why did she laugh at me?" I told him that some people don't think that boys should wear a dress. But a princess boy can wear a dress at his school, and I will not laugh at him. And a princess boy can wear pink, and I will tell him how pretty he looks. And a princess boy can play with me in pretty girl clothes, and I will still play with him. If you see a princess boy, will you laugh at him? Will you call him a name? Will you play with him?
I would have just
Will
been
you like him for who he is?
I would have just whispered to myself.
Our princess boy is happy because we love him for who he is. My princess boy is yours. We are not going to read that statement because we already read it. Any comments? Anyone?
His dressing his condo.
I'm sure.
Luckily,
Well, at
he's
least you didn't say
only 4,
anything.
He's wearing high heels.
So.
Okay, so let's go back. What if you see a princess boy, Fisher?
Probably just talking through you.
Are you sure?
Mr. Stereotypical. A little, but I'm still gonna laugh.
Well, thank you for being honest. What if you see a princess boy, Spencer?
I wouldn't be mean because when I was little we had no neighbors, so the only thing I could do is play with my sister. So I basically, when I was little, people could consider me like a princess boy, even though I didn't wear the dresses or anything. I still played with her and I had to like play with her with her stuff because she didn't like mine. And if I didn't do that, I had no one else to play with unless I was at school.
That's rough.
So I didn't mind that much because me and my sister when we were little, we were so like people thought we were twins.
Was that in California?
Yeah, we were really nice to each other.
That's
We
good.
didn't know that when you were there.
Okay, so does anyone else besides Spencer? That was a really good share. Does anyone else have any experiences
Yes.
like this?
I have a good idea.
Okay, sure.
Well, I think that it would be like if he had a good sense of humor, we can make jokes about him and then laugh. We both laugh.
Okay,
We both
so
laugh.
why
It'd be
are
funny.
you thinking about making jokes about him now?
And it's me.
Can I give my answer?
But he would laugh too. About him?
Isaac, what do you want to say?
I don't think I have a problem with that. I mean, I was raised differently than everybody else. I don't really have that many stereotypes against people. When I was younger, I didn't have that many friends because nobody wanted to talk nerd stuff. Everyone wanted to go play in the swings. I
Even
just
in
rode
those
the
glasses, you don't look much like a nerd.
I picked these glasses out to look nerdy. And so, when I finally got a bunch of friends, all of them are kind of really different. We all have most of my friends outside of the school have some form of autism. So, and there is someone in my family who is, who likes the same gender, but I'm not going to say who. Not me, by the way.
So when I was growing up, I had a next door neighbor, Mark.
I don't think that the person in question would, I think they would rip my throat out if I told somebody. Okay.
It's okay. We don't need you to say. We like your throat, so we won't ask who it was.
If I saw Princess Way, I would just paint his nails pink.
Well, that would be up to him whether or not he wanted that. So what I was going to say is that when I was growing up, I had a neighbor, Mark. And Mark was, so I have an older sister. She and I are 3 years apart, almost exactly 3 years apart. And Mark's age was right in between ours. So
What about him?
we moved to that part of town when I was 6, so that made him about 7.5, and then my sister 7.5, 8, and my sister was 9. Okay, and so my sister, we all were really good friends, and my mom used to babysit him and his sister. His mom and his dad had to go to work real early in the morning, and my mom stayed home. So she would take us all to the bus stop in the morning. And so that meant that we all became really good friends. So Mark used to hang around with me and my sister all the time, because we were his age. And my brother and his little sister were friends, and that's how we used to play. And so when I was growing up, my sister and I did dance. She was really into ballet and jazz, and I was really into ballet and tap. And, as people are wont to do when they make friends with each other, they get interested in the same things that their friends are interested in, right? So, I noticed that one of the big things here is Monster High. So I don't know who got interested in that first, but after some people got interested in it, then other people got interested in it. Same thing maybe with movies or Skylanders or Beyblades. Usually,
Minecraft is crazy.
Okay, Minecraft's been here for a while.
It has been.
but I'm saying, Jenya told us the other day that he was the one who originally really liked Minecraft and told everybody about it, and then got other people interested in it. So back to my story. Well, we're not talking about Minecraft now. That's a whole other story.
Jenya, we're on camera.
It doesn't matter because they've been throwing things the whole time because that's what they like to do to get attention.
She started it.
So, can I finish my story? Is that cool? Yes. So anyway, like I said, Mark used to play with me and my sister and I went to dance. We had dance 2 or 3 times a week. And all of a sudden, Mark decided that he was interested in it because his friends were doing it. And we... It's okay.
We're gonna get sued.
Music song? A music video. It's a video with music in it. Guys, hush.
Well, it's a song about music.
Guys. Okay, listen, Rebecca now. Go, Rebecca.
So anyway, Mark decided one day, he announced to his mom that he wanted to make dance. So his mom was a little bit like, whoa, that was unexpected, because he used to wear a jacket that said the San Francisco 49ers, which were a football team, and he was kind of this rough and tumble guy, and all of a sudden he was interested in dance. So I guess maybe his mom was cool with it, and my mom said, oh, I'll take him, we all went to the same dance school.
Hush, guys.
So anyway, he started taking dance at the same dance school where my sister and I went. He decided that he wanted to do tap, and he actually was really good at it, really good, And he was in one of our recitals. We actually still have the video of him in the recital.
Can we see?
I don't have it with me. But anyway, so that was about when he was maybe 10, 11 years old. And then the next year when we all went to sign up for dance again, he suddenly decided that he didn't want to do it. It was weird. Because we were like, well, last year you thought it was awesome, and then you were in the dance recital and you're really good, and everyone said you were really good. What's going on? Well, any guesses as to why?
Someone made fun of him for it.
Bingo. when the kids at school found out that Mark did dance with his two friends who were girls, it was over.
That's not.
So do you know what he did instead?
Football.
No, he started playing hockey.
Then he
It
got
actually sounded really good.
You know he died from playing hockey?
No.
Done.
Do you see, like, isn't that interesting though that he went from doing dance, which he was really good at, to suddenly playing one of the most violent
Dangerous.
and dangerous sports you could possibly play.
Like football.
And
I've seen
by
some
the way, do you know that
football.
do you know that fighting is actually allowed in hockey?
Yes, you can smack each other with their hockey
You can.
sticks.
You can like.
And you can body, you
You
can
can
tackle
body
people
slam.
into the face. I saw a video of how dangerous hockey is on like the news, and it was like our age kids, like, so say like it'd be like kids from my age to like Jake playing hockey, and they like rammed each other face first into the wall, like the protective wall, and their face would be like.
So if you ever see like an older professional hockey player and you
Don't.
like look inside their mouth, a lot of times they're missing teeth.
Because they get smacked in the they get smacked with the puck.
Well, the reason I say older is because this was kind of before they made regulations for helmets and stuff like that. Just like, you know, in football, like back in the day, the helmet used to be made of leather,
Yeah, and that
which
was
is so not safe
Yeah,
at all.
I think it's like
because of that.
horseback riding and hockey that most of the games are sports.
Football almost got banned in Georgia because of that.
Yeah, and like horseback
But
riding
I'm
and
just
hockey.
not, you know, I was thinking about what we were going to talk today, and that story popped into my head about how I had this friend who did this thing that was kind of like my princess boy. It was kind of like he was trying it out, and because it was so wrong, people were laughing at him and making fun of him and saying, no, he didn't have to wear a leotard, but he was in a class with mostly girls because, you know, boys don't dance.
No, there's boys dancing in my studio.
Not how many?
The ones that I know are the 3 of them.
Okay, stop right there.
But
How
there's
many,
2 adults.
how many girls? Yeah.
exception. There's gonna be 4. I'm actually going to a
Well, I'm excited to hear that there's
But
going to
no,
be 4, but
but like
compared to like
Oh, and Lucas. is going.
100 girls.
But no, there's like the 3 like older boys, but there's a bunch of boys in like hip hop and ballet and that.
Yeah.
Some people think boys, I mean not boys, girls can do only gymnastics.
Yes.
My cousin Connor used to do gymnastics. And
My
some
brother
of the
used to do gymnastics too.
And some of the most famous.
But then
gymnasts
my
like-
brother had the same kind of a deal. My brother ended up playing roller hockey for a long time
Guys.
because he wasn't
Yes, roller
supposed
hockey.
to.
Oh, it's hockey.
where-
It's street
with
hockey. It's street hockey.
Because he wasn't supposed, you know, because he's a boy. Boys aren't supposed to do
I had a friend
like
in my
girls
old.
do.
I had a
Just like this book said, that lady laughed at that boy because he was trick-or-treating and wearing a dress.
I have a friend that does, at my old school that does gymnastics, and I actually have 2 different guy friends that do gymnastics, and then I have I think I have 1 or 2 other guy friends that do trapeze, which mostly girls do, and Shelby
I know.
does it.
I know.
Yeah, boys can do trapeze.
I know.
So
I wanna do
another thing
trapeze
that
really bad.
it was very fortunate that I was listening to NPR this morning on the way here because then I heard about, I don't know if you've ever heard of this woman, her name is Pat Summit. She used to coach the University of Tennessee girls basketball team, the Lady Vols is what they're called. And she has more wins than any coach, male or female, ever.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was listening to her talk this morning, and she was remembering what it was like when she couldn't actually play on an organized school basketball team because girls' teams weren't allowed. Because why would girls want to play basketball? Or
Because it's
volleyball?
fun.
Or run track?
Wait, girl, did you just say girls weren't allowed to play volleyball?
I
My
think
old
girls
school
are
guys
like,
weren't allowed to play volleyball.
Now girls are, it's like an all-girl sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boys think it's funny.
What's an old girl sport?
Mostly beach stuff. I've seen a girl on TV that played football.
I don't think
On Disney Channel that,
Oh, I know.
That's Disney
Oh, you mean the girl?
No,
It's a real girl. She does cheerleading,
Football is an
soccer,
American
and
exclusive.
football.
No, she just did football. And then there's like a guy that does cheerleading.
There was one girl that did
And so,
cheerleading.
can I tell you
football, and
something
soccer.
though? So, what I recently learned is that, so there's the lady, Pat Summit, who won all those games and stuff, she wasn't allowed to play on an organized girls' team until after something that was passed that was called Title IX, which meant that there had to be girls' sports if there were going to be guys' sports. okay? But the rule is really wackadoodle. It says that it has to be an even number. So it has to be exactly this many girls team, and the number of guys teams has to match exactly. So what I learned about UGA is that UGA has no men's soccer team because they have a football team, and we all know girls aren't allowed to play football. Gosh knows why, but they aren't. So they got rid of their men's soccer team and then have like a girls field hockey team to match and be exactly, or I'm sorry, like a girls soccer team so that they can match. So it has to be exact. So instead of like saying, instead of rethinking the rule about how girls can't do this and boys can't do that, like when I was in junior high, I remember there was a court case about a boy who was fighting that he couldn't play field hockey and he wanted to. And what ended up happening is he won the case, but then they made him wear a skirt because that was the uniform. Did you know that girls used to have to play field hockey in skirts?
That's not good. That just makes it even more dangerous.
I made a ridiculous tower thing.
Remember back then, girls?
There was this thing on Disney Channel. There were 4 sisters and they play ice hockey, and but on a girls team. And then there's this one girl who used to play football when she was little. It's a different one, and one of the main most famous football people or something. They took her to the new Super Bowl because she was so good. She could beat all the boys on every single team. But now she's not allowed to play anymore because she can't be on the older team. She was on the kids team. Now she can't be on the older one.
They won't. Well, in reality, in football, even if you're teeny weeny tiny, you know how they have soccer where everybody plays.
Yeah.
Very 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 small because whatever you're probably pulling up the grass anyway.
I can play soccer.
Well,
they changed it. It's like boys teams and girls teams.
They don't do that anymore. I didn't know that.
No.
I've seen mixed teams before.
Oh,
No, not always.
on my soccer
team with
the soccer league, I did mixed teams.
Okay, go ahead.
Remember how back then girls could only wear dresses?
To only girls and
It's like at home, but they can wear shorts and stuff at home.
My
Well, now
friend
people
plays
can
with
wear
5
whatever
guys.
they want, whenever they want.
That's true. When my mom was in high
Except for
school,
some schools you had to wear a certain dress code.
for the first 3 years
I
that
know
my
she
mom
plays
was in
with
high
her.
school, so 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, she was only allowed to wear a
No,
dress
because
or
I
a
watched
skirt.
you play while she was playing.
Not until my mom was a senior in high school, and granted, this was kind of a long time ago, it was 1970, she actually wore pants.
She wore pants.
She could finally wear pants to school in the year 1970, which, even though it seems like a long time ago, isn't really that long.
It's not.
It was only about 13 years before I was
Isn't
born.
Fisher supposed to be sitting over there?
Weird it is.
It would be nice if you would
Meredith
join us
Hanson?
too.
I know her.
Alright, so
I have sensory issues with being close to other people.
it is now
And
time.
he's infringing on my personal space.
Okay, so this is, again, this is a radio program called This American Life, and this
You're gonna
is,
bury yourself in pillows, do it somewhere else.
it's been really nice of you to contribute to our conversation. I mean, you have really good things to say. I'm glad that I'm recording all the good things that you're saying. So I'm going to have us listen to finish out, and feel free to tell me to push pause if you want to say something. This is the story of 2 little girls, Thomasina and Lily, who started life as little boys.
How does that happen?
There's
Like
no
the guy
video.
that got pregnant.
Surgery.
This is only the second day they are
This is American Life, America. Each are going to share with you a theme, bring you a variety of different kinds of stories. In today's show, somewhere out there, stories of people searching for that one person who will understand them in a way that nobody else does. We've arrived at Act 2 of our show now, Act 2, young girls. In this act, we actually turn from romantic love to something different, to friendship. But by friendship, I mean the kind of BFF friendship that you have when you're little. And we turn to 2 kids who weren't sure they would ever have that kind of thing. Mary Beth Kushner witnessed and recorded their friendship pretty much as it was forming.
Lily and Thomasina are hanging out late on a Saturday night. They've asked their parents if they can have a sleepover. This is only the second day they've known each other, but that doesn't matter.
I said hi, and she said hi, and we became like best friends.
And here we are right now.
They live on opposite sides of the country, but other than that, they've got lots in common. For starters, they're both 8 years old.
She's nice and I'm nice. How do they meet?
I wish I had straight teeth like I have two big teeth.
I have crooked teeth on the bottom, so
We have crooked teeth.
And they go on.
We're both awesome. We both like ice cream.
Do you like Chinese food?
Yeah.
I like Chinese food. That's another thing. I can't think of anything else.
Only when asked do they mention their other extraordinary bond.
I don't feel anything like a boy. I'm a girl. And that's all I have to say. I'm a girl.
Thomasina and Lily are both transgender, born with the anatomy of boys, but who now live as girls.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people like us. But we just don't know it yet.
Lily looks completely like a girl. Chin-length blonde hair and pierced ears. She loves wearing her pink sneakers with her all-pink summer dresses. Thomasina has long, wavy brown hair and delicate facial features. She wears kick skirts and headbands and two-piece bathing suits. Usually it's hard for Thomasina to talk about how she feels on the inside, but this weekend with Lily, it's different. Before drifting off for the night, lying on the floral quilt of a big bed with Lily on her tummy and Thomasina propped up with pillows, these two get to share what's usually kept secret in their 8-year-old lives. Before this weekend, neither one had ever met anyone who's transgender.
When I first meet someone, I don't tell them anything.
Once you get to know them, would you tell them a little bit more?
Actually, now I've been doing something where they later sometimes figure out. And I actually have this one friend who doesn't know a thing about it. And I actually kind of like that, but she doesn't know a thing about it. She just thinks I'm a normal person.
Yeah, I like it when people think I'm normal.
Thomasina and Lily and their parents are in a hotel in Seattle at a conference for families with transgender kids.
Thomasina, we didn't sign in. When we came in this morning, she was...
It's just its second year with only about 20 families attending, all of them in the middle of figuring out how to raise children unlike any they've ever met. These parents came together to compare notes about things other parents simply don't have to deal with, like this dilemma that came up with Thomasina's parents, Fred and Mandy, before the conference.
In the car yesterday when we were driving with our child, and our child, I'm saying carefully for a reason you'll understand in a second, said, when you talk about me, say she.
It's the first time that we've gotten an instruction to us. Mommy, when you talk about me, say she, all right? And I said, okay. Daddy, when you talk about me, say she. And what did you say?
I said, okay, I heard you.
Yeah, but you didn't agree.
I understand that that's what you want. Right now, that's the best I can do, is to understand that's what you want.
Sign her up, that's for today, and then if you want her to come to day camp again tomorrow, you just sign her up again in the morning.
This conference marked a turning point where Fred and Mandy agreed to use the pronoun she, to refer to their son as their daughter, and to call her by the new name, Thomasina.
Probably Thomas.
For most of her life, Thomasina was called Tom, named after his Irish grandfather. Tom was a boy who, from age 2 or 3, always liked pretty dolls and flowy clothes. A lot of boys go through that phase. Mandy and Fred were open to it. They let him wear dresses when he wanted. They always felt Tom's non-traditional style showed flair and a free spirit. Mandy and Fred are both actors. Fred has a sister who's gay. They sent Tom to progressive schools in Southern California from the time he was little, and Tom's nursery school friends didn't notice him.
Why are you making that mix? I'm just curious. How come you made that face?
Gay, saying the word gay in public. It's also.
No, I just was curious. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I just wondered why you made that face.
What's kind of weird is that word. Its first meaning was happy. And it, gay. There's actually like a gift shop in Myrtle Beach. Like people make fun of the name now because it was like made the building and the name was. I'll tell you in a second. Was when gay still meant happy, so it was called. It's called the Gay Dolphin. So people was like, oh, that's funny.
What does it mean?
No, it still means happy. That's still gay. Still, that's one of the meanings. But some people make jokes about that. Like I can tell like when we're passing like that place and there's like a car. Sometimes it looks like people are like laughing about it.
So Fisher, gay can sometimes be just like what you said. What men marry men, exactly. But I think I get why you made your face.
All homosexuals can legal here.
Really?
Yeah.
What can?
I don't know if that's everywhere.
No, only one city.
Oh, what? Yeah. Well, there's some states get to decide whether or not they're
You know
okay
there's
with that.
actually an island where you can actually marry when you're like...
Yeah.
And churches are actually going through trying to figure out whether or not. But anyway, so Fisher, I get why you made that face because sometimes people use gay just like Spencer was explaining. Sometimes people, when they say gay, in that negative way.
I heard that word in like the whole time. I knew they were trying to.
Yeah, like Don, we now are gay apparel, right?
My mom, whenever they're talking about debates on the radio or stuff about when people are using the point in the Bible, it says marriage is between one man and one woman. She says, also in the Bible, it is said that if your child lies, you should stone them to death.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, it does.
That means you grab a giant...
This is not good. This is not good.
Okay. So now we're talking about something totally different. But let me ask this question. You're all sitting here, and I really appreciate that you're all sitting here really quietly and listening. Do you have anything that you want to say so far?
This thing's mocking me.
And me and my dad all they're friends of our family, but we all have we have friends that are both gay. So.
What about, has anyone ever met a transgender person before?
No.
I haven't actually.
Well, back in public school, I had a friend who was transgender.
It's
She was
mocking
a girl
me.
with her hair cut short. Then
I have my hair
Did
she had
say
like a
that she-
DSI and played Mario.
But did she say,
That's a tomboy.
Fisher, let me ask this question. Did she say that she felt like a boy on the inside?
No, I just.
So,
That's a tomboy. I knew she was trans.
That's a
tomboy.
That's a tomboy.
Like my sister.
My
so
sister
maybe
does
what we
that.
can do, maybe we can change that sentence a little bit to say, I wonder if she
Even
felt,
more boy shoes.
well, maybe we can change that
So
sentence,
what?
Fisher, to say
My sister
something
wore my
like,
shoes for a
to
while
say
because
something like,
she stepped
I
in
wonder
donkey
if that
poop.
person is transgender because of the behavior.
Yeah,
It's
I
mocking
assume
me.
that.
Well,
She
one of the
really
things
played her off.
that we're trying to do by having these conversations, Fisher, is to get ourselves to stop assuming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because my friend Emma wears like boy shoes and more clothes.
Just say it.
Well, I've seen girls wearing boys' t-shirts. My friend wears her dad's.
All right, shall I continue? Would you like to learn more about Lily and Thomasina?
Difference. But when Tom still wanted to wear girls' clothes in kindergarten, his parents started to pay attention. And Tom was starting to express some confusion.
We were in the garage, actually, and I don't know what precipitated this. And he said, I'm mad at God because I'm a girl, but I'm not. And he said, you know, Mommy, you're my mother. You know what I mean. You know who I am. I had never been so brought in.
So Mandy started reading online. She found a therapist at a local children's hospital who eventually said, it sounds like you have a transgender child. Tom was 5 years old. Mandy and Fred thought of themselves as open-minded, been around the block kinds of people. But Mandy says when she got the news, she collapsed into Fred's arms in tears. They tried to organize a local support group, but no other families came forward. Until this weekend, they'd been completely alone.
A lot of our friends, I think, that wish us well are kind of saying, so your kid is gay, right? And that would actually be a blessing. Most people today, even if they are homophobic, at least our society has a structure in which you can understand. I think I understand where gay people fit. Once you say, okay, now I want this transgender person to be part of your life, I'm not even sure I even believe that's really true. That's kind of just a disorder, isn't it? If you'd stop letting your kid dress like a girl, it wouldn't act like a girl.
It wouldn't act
Does anyone ever tell you, like your best friend, that you don't just seem like their best friend who's a girl? You seem like both.
Me and my friend, sometimes she would like bring that up about like how I am transgender and stuff. But I'm fine with talking about it as long as she like won't bring it up to other people, because then I bet that they would just open it up and then half the city or the world would know. And reporters would be banging on my door, and that would feel painful. Like, how do you feel being transgender? Or, why did you change your name? Or, I like your new haircut. What's your favorite kind of jewel? That would be very painful and annoying.
Thomasina and Lily's parents just wanted to find a place where their kids could thrive, but it's been hard, especially for Lily's mom, Colleen. They live in a mid-sized Midwest town. Colleen asked me to use a pseudonym for her and Lily, which I have. Colleen says Lily never acted like a boy. She always felt like she had a daughter and loved Barbie castles and secondhand store dress-up clothes. And for a while, she blamed herself.
I wanted a girl because I had a boy. So I prayed and prayed to God. And I prayed to God to please give me a girl. So when they gave me the ultrasound and said it was a boy, I still prayed to God to give me a girl. And I thought maybe I prayed too hard, and that's why my child was transgender, you know. And my mother said, for goodness sakes, there's no way.
By the time Lily was old enough to talk about it, Colleen had a different take.
And I said, honey, you know, I don't think God did this. I think nature has ways of messing up. I said, there are children born with one arm, there are children born with a larger nose, and everybody has something that they feel, you know, insecure about.
And when Lily was 7, Colleen let her start dressing and living as a girl. But Lily's dad, who's now divorced from Colleen, was never on board.
He is a very homophobic, burly, all guy.
Colleen says when Lily would go to her dad's for the weekend, he would still call her William. He would make her wear a boy's bathing suit when they went swimming. But Mom prevailed. Last year during the summer before 2nd grade, Colleen allowed Lily to start growing her hair. She moved her to another school across town where she could more easily transition to being a girl. But her father had other plans.
The day before school, her father took her to the barber shop and shaved her hair like a boy. And I had to put a clippy in it to send her to school the first morning. And it was so hard, but she was so brave and courageous to walk into school. It was just amazing. And so it was really, really hard because she looked like a boy. So she went into school, and I asked her, did she want me to walk her? And she said no, and she got out of the car with that backpack and walked on right in, and I just was so proud of her.
After Lily moved to the new school across town, it was still impossible to hide her old identity, even with...
I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Anything wrong with Lily wanting to be?
I don't see anything wrong.
Well, how do you feel about what her dad did? So the mom said, I don't know if you've heard it, the parents are divorced now. And the reason, I would guess that the reason the parents are divorced
Just because of what he did.
Because, well, no, he did that after. But I would guess that one of the reasons that family is no longer together is because the mom was okay.
And he was.
I know she didn't see anything wrong with it, but he's not.
And I don't like that dad.
And then the dad.
I would punch him
Hit him with a globe!
What I picture in my head is her hair growing longer and her mom being fine with it, and then him, like...
shaving it again.
Maybe he shaved it really... I guess she said he sent her to the barber, and I can just picture Lily just crying and crying and crying while a barber is like, done.
I imagine that, like, he wants her to be a boy.
boy.
Looks like it. Sounds
He's
like
afraid
a
of
TV
it.
drama.
Did you know that most people's reactions come from not because they understand it or because they get it or they, have any feelings about it?
It's
just
'cause they
because
don't.
they're afraid of it.
Yes. Why would the doctor say it's a boy when it's a girl?
Well, because it has the anatomy, which means the parts of a boy.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean that people grow up feeling the way that they feel. Any last thoughts? We'll finish listening to this next. Any last words?
Does it have like mixed up DNA?
Could be. They don't really. I mean, studies have not been. Think about back in Sandra Day O'Connor times. Even though there was woman after woman after woman after woman who wished she could have gone to college, who wanted an education, who wished she could have worked every day, not having to stay home and iron all the clothes. They still just did what they were supposed to do. Except for Sandra Day O'Connor, who called 40 law firms and was rejected 40 times.
Another name was Sandra.
Well, it's actually time for you guys to have any time out.
I climbed this table and I have to.
So, we'll remember that we have listened to 39 minutes and 32 seconds. And we'll listen to it later.
Okay,
Thank you.
Who wants to be in my drawing class? Lily. I was but you're not